Hi everyone, Religious Fanboy here again. And today we are doing a we will be reviewing Spy, Spider-Man Enter the Spider-Verse issue number 1. I really enjoyed the cover. This story is very well done, a lot like the Infinity a lot like Infinity Man and Forever people. The lesson is a very prominent and almost like the lesson or theme or message is like very heavily like the main focus of the theme of the story. I like its referencing of past books. I kind of like a main character that got focused on quite a bit in this story is a character that Spider-Man had fought a while back, and what had happened was like he found out that the character was just being brainwashed, and all he wanted to do was be sent back home. So they tried to get him back home, but like to try to as in order to get him back home, they had to shrink him down slightly so he get could fit in like the teleportation um machine. Um and since he was smaller than the other mature um people of his species, he was cast out and he trans ended up transporting him to like another dimension, which he made acquaintance that like he thought was his friend. This friend would later in the issue be revealed to be that universe's Doc Ock, and you kind of see like the which the Spider-Man in the issue ended up having to fight the Sinister Six, because what had happened was Spider-Ham had because of Spider-Ham, Doc Ock saw and was able to examine the wristbands that were being used to for them to teleport to dimensions, and he was trying to replicate them so he could meet the other Doc Ocks and like, take over the multiverse. And it was very cool seeing their unique, like seeing the different Spider-Mans like unique mindsets and like the creative ways that they like fought the separate members of the Sinister Six. And then I thought it was interesting and really cool and done really strongly where the 616 universe Spider-Man, the main Marvel universe Spider-Man, um I'm gonna look up his name really quick. Oh, his name is Gog. And I um I like how instead of going straight into fights with Gog. Spider-Man initially, as well as spider other spider people. I think Spider-Gwen was one of them. They were talking Gog down and like calming him down, trying to like resolve the conflict peacefully. And I found that was a really interesting thing. Just seeing superheroes, like, instead of feeling like they have to fight him right away, like trying their best to talk him down and stuff. And like they were the people that revealed to Gog that Doc Ock had been manipulating him, and it led to some really sweet moments of Gog kind of like standing up for himself, as well as like him and the spider people. I say spider people because, yeah, because Spider Gwen and Spider Ham are also featured. And I really enjoyed the issue. It has the team of Spider-Man in the story involves a lot of some of my favorite versions of Spider-Man, like the main comic version, Miles Morales, Spider-Punk, Spider-Gwen, and like this made me a fan of Spider-Ham. Spider-Ham's particular. Um, I really liked how all the characters were drawn in this. Um, the art is very fun. Um, I kind of like how Spider-Ham does stand out, but like it's not like in a jarring sense. So it was really interesting and cool. Um, and I wanted to, since a lot of the themes talk about like being aware of manipulation, not giving into it and stuff. I wanted to read um I'm gonna read chapter Second Peter, chapter 2, for and I'll be going all the way down to um I will be reading down to verse 20. I will be reading the entirety of Second Peter chapter 2, and I will stop at certain points to talk. But there were also false prophets among the people, even as there will be false teachers among you, who secretly bring in destructive heresies, even denying the Lord who bought them, and bring to on themselves swift destruction. And many will follow the destructive ways, because of whom the truth will be blasphemed. By conventions, they will exploit you and deceive you with deceptive words for a long time. Their judgment has not been idle, and their destruction was not slumber. Does not slumber. That was kind of like a warning to us that like these types of people will be among us. So like preparing us for making us aware that these things exist. For if God did not spare the angels who sinned, but cast them down to hell and delivered them into chains of darkness to be reserved for judgment, and did not spare the ancient world, but saved Noah, one of 8 people, a preacher of righteousness, bringing in the flood on the world of the ungodly, and turning the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah into ashes, condemned them to destruction, making them an example to those who afterward would live ungodly, and delivered righteous Lot, who was oppressed by the filthy conduct of the wicked, for that the righteous man dwelling among torment his righteous soul from day to day by seeing and hearing their lawless deeds. Then the Lord knows how to deliver the godly out of temptation, and to reserve the unjust under punishment for the day of judgment, and especially those who walk according to the flesh in the lust, uncleanness, and despise authority. They are presumptuous, self-willed. They are not afraid to speak evil of digni- dignitaries, um, where whereas angels who are greater in power and might do not bring reveling accusation against them before the Lord. I it was mainly talking about the way the way God punishes false prophets. I'm I'm on we're on verse 12 now. But these like natural brute beasts made to be caught and destroyed speak evil of the things they do not understand, and will utterly perish in their own corruption, and will receive the wages of unrighteous as those who count it pleasure to carouse in the daytime. They are spots and blemishes, carousing in their own deceptions while they feast with you, having eyes full of adultery that cannot cease from sin, enticing unstable souls, that they have a heart trained in covetous practices, and are accursed children. They have forsaken the right way and gone astray, following the way of Balaam the son of Bor, who lived who loved the wages of unrighteousness. But he was rebuked for his iniquity. A dumb donkey speaking with a man's voice restrained the madness of the prophet. These wells without water, clouds carried by a tempest, for whom is reserved in the blackest of the darkness forever. I believe the tale of the talking donkey that was touched upon in here. I think it's, I don't know, I don't quite remember at the point what chapter it is, but I believe it's in Judges. And that was talking about like describing the like spiritual well-being of false teachers. And now I'm on chapter 18. For when they speak great swelling words of emptiness, they allure the lust of the flesh through lewdness. The ones who have actually escaped from those who live in error while they promise them liberties, they themselves are slaves of corruption, for by whom a person is overcome, by him also he is brought into bondage. For if after they have escaped the pollutions of the world through the knowledge of the Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, they are again entangled in them and overcome, the latter and is worse for them than the beginning. For it would have been better for them not to have known the way of the righteous than have known it, to turn from the holy command delivered to them. But it has happened to them according to the true proverb: a dog returns to his own vomit, and a slow having washed to her wallowing in the mirror. Like this talks about more punishment for false prophets, and kind of where it talks about like unstable souls, like that could be considered to people who aren't as strong in their faith, um, or like people who don't have particularly strong like willpower. And with that being said, may God be with you, and see you next time. Bye.